What are you doing? Grinding beat. First up, big shout to Zort Rider. He went to game a couple of weeks ago and bought me Cassian Andor and Moff Tarky B at those ridiculous reduced game rates. Me and Ed actually talked to one of the employees last week and he confirmed all the Hasbro stock was going cheap because Game just bought loads of stuff off Hasbro, and Hasbro were super nice to them and said, have all this too. As a little start, I haven't talked about Menasor yet, so let's just talk about Menasor. I just think it's fantastic, isn't it? The cars on the back of the legs don't bother me at all, and it doesn't bother me at all that Breakdown is Wild Rider, and Wild Rider is Breakdown. During Combiner Wars, if they'd said, wait, this will be coming out in 9 years? We would have waited, wouldn't we? Oh no, I did talk about it in that top 10 video, didn't I? Top 7. While I was out with Ed last week, I picked up Leo Convoy because the week before I went to visit Adam and had a play with Adams when I wasn't stalking him around Forbidden Planet. And following him in the street. He's got dead eyes for a lion, but the lion mode is pretty solid, and even though it's not very poseable, he does the lion pose. I prefer this one to the Nemesis Breaker because this looks legitimately more hygienic in this glossy white. This bit here, where you do the head reveal, that's Mark Henry. That's just Mark Henry. Laserhead. Well, I think I've got him transformed properly, and it's always just kind of a that'll do deal with animals, isn't it? With all this kibble hanging off him. And I think all the colours work really well on this guy. He just looks posh and smart. Like he's wearing his favourite clothes out for his favourite night out of the year. Anyone else get their TF Nation rooms, eh? Favourite night out of the year. Hello. It's pretty good, and I honestly prefer this robot mode to the beast mode. Just all the colours are lush. I dig it. It's like a really nice football kit. Hello. Hey, it's been a right while since I showed any Gundam. This is the Pharact from the new Witch from Mercury series. Earlier on, the Pharact fell down the back of my cabinet, and I pulled it out looking exactly the same as when it went down. That says a lot about the Witch from Mercury kits. They're always finding ways to make the Gundams better. There you go, he's got a jammy dodger stuck in his head. Ray Skywalker.
What? Fucking dying.
Took a trip to Smith's by myself a couple of weeks before, and I picked up a Scraphook just because I wanted to pick something up, and that's not the right reason to pick something up. Sometimes, though, that goes right, doesn't it? He's alright. There's plenty of things to look at. There's loads of interesting accessories like his smoky pipes there, his hook, his bad guy from Mega Man. Riding on cars. And his feet are proper cool. People don't like these feet, and I really like these feet because they're super stable. Why do robot feet have to look like our trainers? It's just silly, isn't it? That's like saying their hands have to look like all of our hands. And only Michael Bay really has moved past that, hasn't he? I like that whole weaponizers dynamic where they split up into parts for other robots and stuff like that. But there's something just really cohesive about this in comparison to the weaponizers. This is a proper vehicle mode that's fun to build out of the robot parts, and they all transform in their own way, and it holds together well. I just like cars. Let's talk about Tarn, baby. Let's talk about stupid face. I've never really dug Tarn's face. It's always been a case of, well, if you want to look scary, just have a blank face like the Slendy Man. There's something about having the Decepticon symbol as your face that isn't as scary as it's supposed to be. I do like his character in the comics, though, and the DJD and all that kind of stuff. But I just think there's cooler characters in the DJD than Tarn. But this figure, I absolutely adore. I think it's brilliant. I think it's interesting. I think it looks cool. I hate just saying I think it looks cool. I'm not giving you any information there, am I? The silhouette is all angly and spiky, but at the same time proper butch. He's got a real nice balance of spiky, pointy, long bits that make him look like he can run fast, and muscle. You want to have a guy with some chunk if he's going to be the leader of a badass bunch of choffed wompters. Big grins for Tarn. Something about weird Cybertronian modes that just works sometimes. It's blatantly a robot that just overtucked its legs and curled himself into a womtok. But the form is interesting enough and lethal looking enough to just be kind of fun and work. I don't know if I transformed that bit properly. I like Tarn's tank mode. I like the transformation into Tarn's tank mode. It's fun, and it's one of those transformations that you don't remember every step to. So every time you transform him, it's kind of like you're doing it, or at least some of it, for the first time. That's fun. That's novel. Tarn! You're all ready, don't ruin your suit. Long overdue big up to Rohan, who was cool enough to send me the guns to all of those G2 GoBots and what are they called? Spy changers. He just sent me a full bag of guns for them with a Christmas card at Christmas, which is beyond lovely. So thank you, Rohan. Talking of spy changers, I was in Leicester Vintage with Adam last week when I wasn't following him round Forbidden Planet. Picked me up a little sideburn, got a bit of wear, but you know, Dodge Vipers, 1990s ultimate sports car sexiness, and you can't see over his chest. And new in package, I got Wars and Hot Shot, mainly for Hot Shot, because obviously it's a Hot Shot, and everyone loves a Hot Shot. Actually, that's not true. Maybe just me and Waspy. It's easy to just show these on camera. They transform really quickly like your Micromasters, but they're a little more substantial and chunky, and they're well built. There we are. Everything else, TF Nation is booked, TF UK Con is booked, Star Wars Celebration is booked. I'm mostly excited about seeing DL for the second time in 6 months.
I think you kind of missed the boat on all of these things.
I still don't know if the general audience can grasp the multiverse